Miss Carol, thank you for sitting with us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
I've been asking everyone the first question. When was the first time you heard the name or of the man, Medgar Evers?
I actually heard it through my dad, who was very active in civil rights. He worked with United Brotherhood Carpenter, AFL-CIO, so activism and Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, anything that had to do with movement was all about what we were told in our family. Not don't miss a time voting, when you get old enough, vote, and all of the things that were important to what was important to us as Black people.
Now, with those stories kind of going around your house, what can you remember from that time, being a young person, getting that kind of education?
Yeah, I remember of course, he was assassinated the year I was born, but the education that we got in our household was that you are required to vote, you're required to make a difference, you're required to give back, and you're required to do what's right and fight for what's right.
Now, would it surprise you to know that some people here today, as we celebrate Medgar Evers at this symposium, this was their first time learning about him? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, that would surprise me. That I don't know how it makes me feel, but that actually does surprise me. That Are you saying that people had never heard of Medgar Evers?
Yes, ma'am. We've had people sit in the seat where you're sitting at. And
Yeah, that surprises me. That really does surprise me because it's kind of a household name. I don't know. That really surprised me that if you have not heard about Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, anything that has to do with the civil rights movement, that really does surprise me.
But I guess I'll say a lot of people, they heard of Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, but there were gaps such as Medgar Evers and the Freedom Riders. They hadn't really heard of those people in those instances. And how does that, you got that education firsthand. But
Yeah.
they did not.
Yeah, I think it's really sad that people are not aware, and I think it's really sad if we're not educating our young people today about who they are. People like Medgar Evers. If we're not educating them about who people are, who they are, that's really, really sad. It makes me sad.
Now, what do you think Medgar Evers would say about your hometown, Jackson, Mississippi, in 2025?
Woo! Probably the same thing we're all saying is that we want it to be a better city, and not just the hometown of Jackson, just the state of Mississippi, not to be the same that it was when he was murdered, not to be the same that it was in the 50s or the 60s, but that it would be better, that we would be equal, that life would be easier. The struggle would not be still as hard. Unfortunately, it still is, but I think that he would still stand up and fight for us.
Now, lastly, what does the word legacy mean to you?
I love the word legacy because I believe that it means leaving something behind or leaving a trail or a mark that will carry on your name, that will carry on what you believe in, and that will carry on the fight for what you believe in.